Thank you both. This question, I guess, goes to Mr. Buzi first. Do you support the elimination of the budget referenda? Why or why not?
The answer to that is clear for me. I don't support the elimination of the budget referendum, unlike my opponent who worked tirelessly to take your vote away. And also, as an elected official, my opponent continued to want to disrespect the vote of people that go out and vote. My plan was different. If the issue was we weren't getting enough yes votes, you got to go out and work to get yes votes. If you believe in your budget, if you believe that what you're doing is the right and best thing for the town, you work hard to ensure that you have enough support and you have a coalition of support around the budget. Now, my opponent has also told me that I sat with special interest groups during the budget. Well, here's the special interest groups I sat with: parents, firefighters, EMS volunteers, sports parents, music parents. I sat with anybody, friends of the library. I sat with anybody to pass the budget that wanted to work to pass a reasonable budget. That's my job.
Mr. Vavrek.
The people have spoken overwhelmingly to keep the referendum system, and that was a past Monroe JC, and that creed was the government is a law of laws rather than not of men. But I kind of, Mr. Buzi says that I was campaigning actively. I want to read a quote here from October 11, 2007, when Mr. Buzi was the chairman of the Massic Renovation Expansion. He urged selectmen at the time, none, to minimize further reductions in both the education and municipal budget. It doesn't take long for infrastructure to go down. This town is going to keep growing. If we cut now, we're going to pay for it later. That's what I was trying to say. And before he even brings it up about the wanting me to trust the elected officials over the people, you know, when you run for an office, you want people to trust you. And I guess what he's saying is the trust of the elected officials doesn't matter, but we have to sit down and talk to the people too. But we sit through hundreds of hours of this budget, and we know what we're doing, elected officials. It's time to trust us a little bit.
That's time. Any rebuttal?
Sure. You know, when the voters speak, I listen. I made appropriate reductions, and it helped pass the budget. If you go the route Mr. Vavrek wants to go, you'll be voting in July. You have to get some resolution on the budget. You have to listen to people, and you have to ensure that you can get a budget passed. And you may have to take some hits up front with some larger reductions than you want, but the end game is we've passed budgets 2 times and 3 times, and this year, over 3 times, and this year was one of the worst years to pass a budget, and we did it in pretty quick time.
Anything further, Mr. Vavrek?
I'm just saying that in previous years, now, and when he was quoting me, it was 8 or 9 years ago. I have a lot of recent things where my opponent and a lot of elected officials said the same thing. Put the budget back as it is because there were solid budgets. And again, you can agree or disagree with the cuts, but the bottom line is your elected officials work very hard on this budget, and it is time to start trusting elected officials a little bit more. We're going to listen to the people. We're going to make adjustments where possible, but I'm just asking to trust your elected officials a little bit more.
Okay, thank you both. Next question.